ready? Are you 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 ready to get it? You ready for war? Live is back, are you ready for more? The waiting is over, it's time to get poppin'. We all wanna win it, just cash in the pocket. PB alive, nothing can top it. Fantasy's back, football's the topic. 50 down for 50 in profit. Boss at the top and we all wanna drop. I'm taking the spot, bury the coffin. Time for the action, enough for the talk. Time to get crackin', live is back. And speaking the facts, the champions boss is back to back. Don't happen that often, enjoy the throne. It's time to get off and welcome back. It's time to get started, time for the weak and the strong to be part. We're all in the war, fight to the finish. Mad about trades, but it's part of the business. Do what you need, it's all about winning. Try to be king on the division. Wanna be champ, that is the mission. White with the flow, this is tradition. Ready to go, time for the show. Roll your bloods, get ready to blow. Get ready to hear the good and the bad. You might not agree, but it's only on facts. If you get ugly, yeah, that means you're whack. Geno and Matt, finally we're back. Analyzing and sharing the stats, giving opinions and checking the facts. Keep it six, built to the draft. A league of 10, let's see who get last. If your team stinks, it belongs in the trash. Race to the end, try not to crash. No one agrees, all of us clash. Something like Titan, Spider gets smashed. You better contend if you wanna be champ. If you won't pay attention, you don't have a chance. No chance to win if you don't have a plan. Get a chance at the shit, better win if you can. Yeah, PPL is back, I hope you're ready. PPL is back, I hope you're ready. PPL is back, I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready.
And here we are, week 1, PPL live. Draft is over, off season is done. It's time to look ahead to the wars of the PPL. We'll start with our battles for week 1. But before we get into that, Geno the Gen is here with my man Ulysses S. Hey, say what's up to the PPL.
What's up, PPL?
We are here, we are ready, and it's time to jump into week 1. Time to jump into the real things. Time to get it started. Starting with our fantasy trends presented by Snickers. Starting at number 10, the Baby Gas Team. At number 9, Trey Fitty. At number 8, the Gaff Attack, way too low. Number 7, Appease the Gods. Snickers not feeling that draft. 6, Patty's Twins, the Omega Conference champions. What are they trying to say here? Number 5, we got Only for the Boss, the Pantheon Cup champions, coming in at 5. 4, the United Players, the Destroyers. 3, Squad Underestimated. That trade really gave them a boost. 2, the Skulls. And at 1, the 13-1 championship Alpha Conference team from last year, the Argonauts. Can they maintain that spot? All right, man. Yeah, fantasy trends. What do you think about fantasy trends, man?
I mean, fantasy don't know what's happening right now. So,
a little early.
this is just out here to antagonize 6 through 10. But let's see what they got.
No, definitely, man. But, we have a new tradition that started from last season, one of our more popular segments. And, hey, if it's popular, if it's good, we bringing it back. We're going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, so this year, how we're going to start for week 1 is we're going to project for the entire season, the good, the bad, and the ugly. All right, Ulysses, give me your good, bad, and ugly projections for the season of 2022 for the PPL.
On it, Geno. But first, I got to address something.
What's that, bro?
Just listening back to last week's take, man, Geno, not so gentlemanly. You look from you in this season. Normally, the more reserved take, had me fading into the background with some of this hatred. Is this something that we can expect throughout the season?
Now, I resent the word hatred. The hate is typically reserved for you, my brother. But my job is to call it how I see it. And I think that the reason why maybe some guys felt a little extra heat from me to start the season was just based on the fact that, hey, there have been months and months, a lot of time put into pre-draft, scouting, pre-draft preparation. And I'm seeing guys talk about let's go, let's effing go, let's get it. And when guys aren't getting it, it's my job to call that out. So, if it was a little strong, it wasn't really intentional. I'm just doing what I always do, and that's calling it how I see it. And what I saw at the PPL draft from certain teams, to borrow a word from what you use for the United Players, it was a slight bit of disgust. So, maybe I got a little ahead of myself. but I'm still a gentleman. And gentlemen are also always truthful. So that's all I have to say about that.
Hey, well, you know I'm only here to spread ignorance and fear throughout the PPL, and so I love what you brought last week. I just had to comment and say I'm here for it.
Okay, well,
going with my good right out the gate, I'm going to say squad underestimated.
Okay.
This is a team had a love-hate relationship with them. We all know how the season of no excuses went, but squad really, as I see it right now, they're the best lineup, top to bottom.
Okay.
Have,
Agreed.
I think, the best depth overall. And I think as of right now could really change the guard. If you ask me right now who I expect to be atop the PPL, I'm going to say squad underestimated. Somebody who, again, last season I had him on a pedestal as well. Again, I think that they're only stronger than last season and maybe have learned a lesson or two on how that played out.
Right.
So my good, I'm going to go with squad.
Okay.
Pivoting a little bit, and this is going to be a controversial pick, I'm going to say bad, and I'm going to say only for the boss.
Whoa.
I'm not saying this is a bad team.
This is the Pantheon Cup champs you're talking about, man.
And that's it, is you're going to now be expected to perform at that level. And I'm just not seeing it out of the lineup as it is. Again, a lot to be determined. This Kansas City-Arizona game should be a high-scoring affair.
Okay.
But again, if it's not, if Arizona is able to stymie Kansas City, it's going to leave a lot of question marks. And again, I'm just not so sure that this team produces at the same level they did last year.
Okay.
Again, I think that Omega or the Alpha Conference in general is stronger. I mean, look at the Snickers rankings. A lot of Alpha Conference teams on the top.
Okay.
I'm just saying I think it's going to be a bad season in comparison to last season. Meaning, I don't think only for the boss repeats. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. And you're ugly, man. Give me that.
Ugly's UP, man. This guy, I just can't understand what he does. And again, I think he's here to play spoil sport. I'm not saying that UP is a bad team. I'm not saying that it's necessarily bad ownership. It's just it often lacks style and substance.
They got Tom, man.
It seems random, man, and don't even get me started on Tom. Just read a report today that things are not happy at home. Things
are ugly at his house.
That's going to affect Tom. Tom's big on family, and we're going to learn about what's more important to Tom, and maybe Tom's going to be a little distracted. If I was over here, I might be looking at Derek Carr against L.A.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure what Dallas is going to do, and if we all remember how this game went last season, I believe this was the opener last season as well. Tampa Bay in Dallas.
It was.
I think Dak and Zeke and company are going to be coming for Tampa Bay. And it's going to happen if Tom ain't focused. So, again, I just got so many question marks about the UP. And, again, not really sure what this manager's doing. But, hey, come out and play spoil sport. I mean, the Skulls are one of those top teams this season. But if I'm saying an ugly team, it's just the inconsistency that's come to define the UP.
All right, man. My good is the gaff, man. I'm really feeling the gaff attack this year, man, and it's for a few good reasons. I thought that they had a strong keeper class. I did tweak them a little bit about letting Leonard Fournette go, but other than that, I thought that they did a good job replacing him with Antonio Gibson. I'm really feeling Jalen Hurts and Antonio Brown this year. I really like that. Or excuse me, AJ Brown. Antonio, dearly departed. Jalen and AJ Brown should be a huge connection. I love CeeDee Lamb this year. They've cleared the deck for him to have a true number one receiver season. DK Metcalf is a little concerning, but I love Rashad Bateman. I love AJ Dillon. And I'm even liking the young guy in Jared Cook. I even like the Irv Smith pickup earlier in the week. I think the gaff is on the road to a revenge season. They don't like Patty's twins being at the top of Omega, ruling Omega. And I think they're going to have something to say about that. So watch out for the gaff to have a pretty good year. Man, my bad is their week one opponent, Appease the Gods. And this is my dude. And we know this is my dude. But I still feel like those top two picks could come back to haunt them a little bit. I do like Cordero Patterson in the lineup. But at the same time, maybe the Saquon Barkley trade may not have been as sound. There's whispers in Chicago about David Montgomery not being long for that spot. I'm hearing a lot of people like Khalil Herbert. If Lamar's contract doesn't get done by Friday, things could get sticky in Baltimore, and that can also affect Mark Andrews. And as much as I love the Michael Thomas pickup, I mean, they're still talking about this guy's hamstring injury from earlier in the year. A slow start from ATG could lead to a slow season. I remember this team got off to one of the hottest starts last year and faded down the stretch. So, I mean, things could get bad for ATG before they get good. So that's my bad. And my ugly, man, and look, I don't, I mean, welcome to the league, man, but I got to go with Trey Fitty, man, and understand what I'm about to say. Because nobody wants Trey Lance to be a superstar more than me, right? But at the same time, there's nothing but youth on this roster. I mean, I like Hollywood Brown. Okay, yeah, he can do some things. I do like Allen Robinson, so two of those receivers are good. But, I mean, you draft Leonard Fournette with the first overall pick, you probably need to play him. I like Travis Etienne, and Cam Akers is in a committee. Travis Etienne, James Robinson will be in the lineup week 1. It's just a lot of things that I'm seeing from Trey Fitty. I expected a little bit more. I do like the comment made on last week's video about the comment I made about fentanyl-laced cocaine. But, cocaine's a hell of a drug. So I'm just letting it be known. And things could get ugly for Trey Fitty before they get pretty. And it might be a rough welcome to the PPL for our newest members. So I'm going to go with that as my ugly. That being said, it's trying to jump into the regular season. And hey, what better way to segue Trey Fitty into the PPL by starting with his matchup, joining him in the PPL as we go into our first matchup of week 1. We go into the Alpha Conference for the team that was good for Ulysses and ugly for me, Geno the Gent. We got I Need About Trey Fitty taking on Squad Underestimated in our opening matchup for week 1. All right, man, so here we go. Squad Underestimated, Trey Fitty. We got Kyler against Trey Lance, NFC West quarterbacks. We got Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, we got a rogues gallery sitting on the side of Squad Underestimated. They finally have an Argonaut-like front line. Can they handle it? Going up against the guy who pretty much powered them up for the 2022 season, Trey Fitty. Obviously, he's got my boy Trey Lance leading the way. I love Allen Robinson this week. Jalen Waddle was another guy in that trade. Hollywood Brown. And, of course, sitting on his bench, he's got Breece Hall and Leonard Fournette as 2 first-round picks. Chris Godwin is also a guy who's back at practice this week. What do you think of this matchup, man? We got Squad and Trey Fitty.
Where I'm at with this one, I mean, I think that, it's going to be really hard for Trey Fitty to crack this. But I think that they have the pieces.
Okay.
I mean, looking at the matchups on the other side, I mean, we don't know what this Arizona-Kansas City game is going to look like. Kansas City could go out there and shoot. I mean, I don't necessarily see it happening.
It's still highest over-under of the weekend, man.
Exactly. I mean, this thing could get outrageous. I've got question marks to speak about Saquon.
Okay.
Tennessee's no slouch. I mean, Vrabel's going to have a defense. Trust me on that.
Oh, definitely.
A lot of questions in San Francisco for me right now. And I don't know if I'm so confident with the Chargers coach against Las Vegas. I'm just going to say it.
Okay.
I look at what Trey Fitty has, and again, I think you called it right. If I'm looking at this lineup right now, I'm putting Marquise up in Jalen Waddle's spot. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Miami does not play good against New England.
Mm-hmm.
I think Belichick's going to come out for these guys. And Kyler is going to be relying on Hollywood. I mean, they paid him money to come out here and catch them.
Most definitely.
So, I mean, he could stymie some of Kyler's productivity in a way that if Trey Lance goes out there and balls against Chicago, there's really, I mean, Ayuk may be involved in that. So
right.
I think that's a good kind of counterplay that Trey Fitty could go with. Again, and then you could put Leonard Fournette up in that flex spot, or for Cam Akers, or for Travis Etienne. I think Leonard Fournette is your RB1 this week.
Definitely.
So I think if he makes a few changes, he can get competitive. Right now, I'm not seeing that, and so I'm going to go with Squad right now.
Right.
And I've got Squad going 121 to Trey Fitty's 115.
Okay. I'm going to agree with you, man. I'm going Squad Underestimated also. And this is just a matter of volume, production, and experience against guys who are in ambiguous roles, guys we don't know what they're going to do, and I'd rather go with what the knowns are better than the unknowns. Now, in Trey Fitty's case, man, look, you got to get, if Chris Godwin plays, I almost feel like you got to play him over one of your receivers, probably Jalen Waddle. We don't know what that Miami, it's been a lot of hype in Miami, but we don't know what that offense is going to look like yet. It's going to hurt his feelings if Tyreek Hill goes dumb, because that's a guy that was on his roster, a guy who easily could have been a top producer for him, as well as Saquon Barkley. Now, I get that they're playing the Titans, but Saquon's going to get all the run. Saquon's going to get all the dump-offs out of the backfield. Saquon is the centerpiece of that entire offense. It's hard to trade that away, and it was just funny seeing him bounce around from team to team in the preseason. What I do like in Trey Fitty's case is the Marquise Hollywood Brown check. I think that they better do something about Dallas. I mean, does he watch football? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers can walk up and down the field. I think that that's an adjustment that needs to be made. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, while yes, Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl last year, they still got. I feel like there still is a level for them to prove themselves. And the Pittsburgh Steelers might not be the measuring stick that he wants to play with right now. There's a lot of good coaches on the waiver wire. They may want to look around there. Fournette needs to get into that lineup. I mean, you picked Breece Hall early. I'm surprised to see him on the bench. And at the end of the day, I mean, if we just go guy for guy down the line, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, I mean, I like Kyle Pitts a lot this year. Kyler Murray going up against Trey. I mean, Kyler can run for just as many yards as Trey, and I'm definitely knowing that he's going to throw for more. He's at home to open the season with the highest over-under of the weekend. Trey Lance has one of the lowest over-unders in that game in Chicago. Things can get very defensive there. And, I mean, that just tells me everything I need to know. I'm going to go squad underestimated in a leave no doubt performance. I think that they kicked the season off in style, much like they did last year. I got squad going for 148 to I need about Trey Fitty's 119. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into the Omega Conference for a big-time matchup between the Skulls and the United Players, the Destroyers. All right, man, so here we are, Skulls, UP. Both of these teams picked two quarterbacks a little early. They both return strong lineups as far as their keepers go. But there is, room for improvement. But I think both teams need to get off to a good start. This was opening matchup for both of these teams last year. The United Players played spoiler sport, as you said, that they need to, against the Skulls in last year's opening day. But the Skulls come in with Josh Allen, who's going to be at that ring ceremony tomorrow night, motivated, ready to play. What you got in this one, man? Josh Allen against Tom Brady. Skulls, United Players, the Destroyers.
I have Skulls getting their revenge from last year, and I've got it led by Josh Allen getting at the Rams and playing spoil sport tomorrow night.
He's also got Buffalo coach.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I mean, he's all in on the Rams, and word on the street is the Skulls might be in the building, and so I think he's got personal incentive to see that through. I think he's going with a lineup that, again, we talked about it in the draft recap, isn't sexy by all means, but is absolutely capable.
Right.
I think he's got a strong lineup, top to bottom. He's got a lot of guys playing questionable. I love Josh Allen. I think James Conner could go. Again, we talked about the over in Kansas City.
Right.
I think Aaron Jones is going to be able to feature as one of the returning weapons for Aaron. He might catch 10 passes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, like you said, Cincinnati does have a lot to prove, but that's going to go through Jamar Chase. I mean, that to me is really there. Tale of two takes here. And, again, we talked about Tom's issues. I think that Tampa Bay is not going to have it crack in week one. And I think they're going to find it hard to get things going in Dallas. And if Tom's frustrated, they don't have a backup answer. And we're going to probably see a 40-year-old guy playing on Sunday. And so, he's also rolling with the Buccaneers coach. And so I don't like that combo this week. And I mean, that's one of the main reasons I've got to knock him.
Okay.
When I look at his bench, though, it's like, I think that, he's got a lot of quality in his starting lineup. I mean, I think he's got the best starting lineup. The one change I would make, I'd probably go Derek Carr at the Chargers over Tom Brady right now.
Really?
I just think.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, I could be completely wrong there, but I mean, hey, you're already relying on Tom with the Buccaneers coach.
Okay.
Like, if it ain't cracking there, it ain't cracking
At all. Yeah.
I mean, I think that just Derek Carr gives him the better opportunity. Say the Bucs stumble, at least he's got some. If the Bucs lose and it's because of Tom Brady's performance, I mean, I don't know where he goes.
Yeah, there's no recovery there. Yeah.
I just don't think it's as close as the line is going to project it. I've got the Skulls going 118 to UP's 111.
Okay. I agree with you on the outcome. I don't know if I agree with you on the score. I think this is actually going to be one of the highest scoring totals of week 1. I think this is a matchup that goes over. And it's because of Josh Allen. It's because of Tom. It's because of Derrick Henry. It's because of Juju Smith-Schuster. It's because of Jamar Chase, man. There's a lot of firepower in this week 1 matchup. And I do think the Skulls are going to get it. But I think the United players are going to have a thing or two to say about it. Derrick Henry's going up against the New York Giants. Derrick Henry has a lot to prove this year after his season was cut short by injury. I think he's going to come out very motivated. I'm loving DeAndre Swift also coming back from injury. He's the top option in that entire Detroit offense, and he's probably their best player. I expect him to have a pretty good game. And I'm really interested to see how Juju Smith-Schuster fits into that Kansas City offense. I think that there will be a lot to be said. Mike Williams in a shootout against the Raiders. Dallas Goedert in that game. I'm talking about Jalen Hurts a lot here. I think Dallas Goedert's going to have a good game. And let's not forget, yeah, Josh Allen will be playing tomorrow night, but so will Cooper Kupp, the premier receiver in all of football. And I think Cooper's going to have a great game tomorrow night, and that could offset some of Josh Allen's production. And that, I mean, I think both coaches are a crapshoot. I mean, Buffalo could easily lose to LA. Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay's chances of beating Dallas are better than Buffalo's chances of beating LA, if we're being completely honest. But in the end, Baltimore's defense, I think, is going to really come out on those Jets. I think Jamar Chase has another huge game on the Steelers. And let's talk about Terry McLaurin. We can say what we want about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz can get the ball to Terry McLaurin. And Terry McLaurin is the most underrated receiver in all of football. This guy has routes for that ass. He's got great speed, and he doesn't drop anything. I like Terry McLaurin to have a huge day against the Jags. I love Aaron Jones's production against Minnesota, and I think that carries the Skulls to a huge 138 to 131 win over the United Players, the Destroyers. And moving on to our next matchup, we go back into the Alpha Conference for a big game between two teams who had an offseason trade that involved the number 2 pick in Ezekiel Elliott. We got the Baby Gas team taking on the Argonauts. All right, man. So obviously I set this one up. We got Joe Burrow against Justin Herbert, 2 young quarterbacks who are, trying to ascend the throne. We got Ezekiel Elliott looking for revenge against the team he helped win 3 Pantheon Cups. We got Deontay Johnson. We got Christian Kirk. Dawson Knox making an appearance tomorrow. And, of course, who can forget the big-time influx of talent that Josh Jacobs got to help him become a premier stud, going up against the new-look Argonauts led by Herbert and Justin Jefferson coming home, along with Devontae Adams, a new face in a new place. What do you think of this matchup? We got Argo, BGT.
I love the Argo matchups this week.
Okay.
When I look up and down this roster, I mean, again, I see favorable matchups. I think we've got, Herbert's playing an opponent in Las Vegas. He knows what this team looks like.
Yeah.
Same with Najee. Same with Dalvin. I mean, you're Justin Jefferson. I mean, again, all of these matchups are playing divisional opponents. I mean, so teams that they're really practicing getting ready for. There's a really, coach should win hands down. The Jets, Colts. I mean, Houston. I don't know what to expect out of them this season.
Right.
There's only one move I would really change right now.
Okay.
I think it gives the Argo leave no doubt potential if they make it. I think you have to get Gabe Davis in the lineup instead of Elijah Mitchell. I've mentioned it several times throughout my picks. I'm not feeling the vibe in San Francisco right now. I'm not saying they don't have talent. I'm not saying that they're not going to be a good team. I'm just saying I don't like how the Garoppolo thing is playing out. I don't think that Trey Lance is fully bought into what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, this guy going to a D2 school, again, falling out there.
Right.
But again, he's playing around a lot of D1 talent, and I'm saying the speed of the game is way different.
Yeah.
And he needs every confidence boost he can get going into this position, and he just got deflated right before week 1.
Right.
So I'm not feeling San Francisco a ton. Again, flip side of that, you look at BGT, he's got a 49ers coach. Again, I think that this is probably one of the better BGT
lineups that we've seen in a while.
Week
Yeah.
1. I mean, again, I would just make one roster move here, too. I don't think Cincinnati is as dominant against Pittsburgh, and I think he has a better option at QB in Jameis Winston.
Interesting.
I mean, in Atlanta's garbage. Their D is garbage, and Jameis likes to feast.
Right.
The culture of this team is to shit on teams.
Right.
They don't slow down ever. It really plays well into a fantasy play, and anybody who has New Orleans Saints, I'd be playing them this weekend.
Okay.
And so I think that there's just too much firepower on the other side for the Argo, though. Again, I think they have a really good performance, and I've got them winning this one pretty handily. I'm going to say 133 to 119.
Okay. I mean, that's actually not too far apart, and I'm going to agree with you. I think that the BGT is actually in this matchup to win it. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make this matchup extremely interesting going into Sunday night with Zeke as their last play. But I'm probably leaning Argonauts here. On the BGT side, I like Joe Burrow a lot, man. Yes, you could go Jameis, but Joe Burrow's coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, and he's got some of the best weapons in all of pro football, man. That can't be ignored. So I can understand why they go Joe Burrow there. Josh Jacobs has got an influx of talent. I talked about that, and I think that he's going to be a guy he's going to be basically the guy the Argonauts drafted his rookie year. He's going to come into that situation getting a lot of goal line work on a team that's going to be able to move up and down the field now. So I love Josh Jacobs as a play. Ezekiel Elliott, Tampa Bay's run defense is one of the best. This probably isn't the best matchup to introduce Ezekiel Elliott to the BGT, but at the same time, I mean, if they get close, or if he starts rolling early, Zeke could be in for a big day. Nobody knows that better than the Argonauts. DJ Moore, he's got an upgraded quarterback now. I'm not the biggest Baker Mayfield guy, but at the same time, we can't deny that he's an upgrade over Sam Darnold. So I like DJ Moore. You talked about Pittsburgh. I talked about Pittsburgh. I think Najee and Deontay Johnson, depending on who scores between those two, that could shift the whole matchup, man. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch. You know what? As far as the flex goes for the Argonauts on their side, you do have Gabe Davis. You do have T. Higgins. You do have Elijah Mitchell now. Smart money would say just put T. Higgins in. That way if Joe Burrow goes nuts, at least T. Higgins is getting fed off of that. I understand exactly what you're saying with Gabe Davis. I mean, it's going to be cracking. It's going to be lights on opening night, Thursday night, ring ceremony. Everybody's going to be motivated to have a big game. So Gabe could be that guy. But I think the Argonauts are looking at Elijah Mitchell just based off the fact George Kittle's looking doubtful now that he's popped up with a groin injury. Deebo Samuel's questionable. And Elijah Mitchell went off on the Chicago Bears last season. And I think the Argonauts saw that and are maybe looking to see if that can repeat itself. As far as coach plays go, I think both teams' coaches are going to win. Defensive plays, I would give the edge to Indy. And at the end of the day, the Argonauts have built one of the strongest rosters in the PPL. I think that shows itself through whether they are at their top self or not. I got the Argo also winning this matchup, 129 to the BGT's 116. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into our final Omega Conference matchup as my good for the season takes on my bad for the season. But hey, appease the gods, made the playoffs, the Gap didn't. We got appease the gods taking on the Gap. All right, man, so obviously I kind of laid that out there. These two teams, I think they're heading in opposite directions, but they were in opposite directions last year. ATG humbled the Gap in opening day. Last year was actually an opening day rematch. Lamar is back at full strength. Mark Andrews bringing up the rear with him. And then we obviously got two giants at wide receivers with Mike Evans and Michael Thomas, the Michaels. On the Gaff side, I've sung the praises of A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. I like the Antonio Gibson play, and Javonte Williams, I think that he might be in for a show on Monday Night Football, man. What do you think of this one, ATG and the Gaff attack?
If I'm looking at this matchup, I think it's going to be a low-scoring affair. I'm honestly got a lot of question marks around some of these matchups. I mean, I think both sides have some positive matchups. I'm looking at Lamar and Mark Andrews playing the Jets. But again, like, I'm not so sure what to expect out of this Cincy-Pittsburgh matchup. David Montgomery, been hearing some issues about maybe where he is on the depth chart. Maybe he might be ceding some carries. You heard what I think is going to happen with Tampa Bay. Mike Evans is a boomer bust candidate. I think this is one of the bust weeks.
Okay.
You mentioned, I think Michael Thomas is actually a bright spot here too. We saw Cordarrelle Patterson get into the lineup. I mean, outside of that, though, like, I'm not really feeling like this team's high scoring potential right now.
Okay.
I look at the other side. Look, I feel you on Jalen Hurts. I feel you on A.J. Brown. I honestly have Detroit winning this game. This is them going into Detroit. We've talked. I think Detroit actually, to me, is not going to be a great team, but I think
they're rah-rah. They're rah-rah for sure.
Yeah, I think that they could get this. I mean, and, I think it's going to have to be pressuring Jalen Hurts and forcing some. But, I mean, again, I think that really is my take on this.
Right.
Again, I also think that Denver does not beat Seattle.
You got some upsets brewing, man.
I mean, well, these guys are playing at home, and, I think that matters. And it's going to be Russ's first game playing in that stadium, and I hear guys like, hey, we're going to cheer for Russ and whatnot. Hey, if I'm a Seattle fan, I want Seattle to win.
Right.
And, yeah, that's great that Russ is coming back, but, I mean, Russ ain't throwing the football for him.
Right.
So, I mean, again, I think that this is going to be a much closer contested matchup. I think it's going to be low scoring.
Okay.
But I ultimately do think that the Gaff gets it done.
Yeah.
But I think that this week one matchup leaves both teams kind of questioning some decisions and thinking if they have to make some moves.
Okay.
I've got the Gaff winning this one 109 to appease the Gods 105.
Oh, wow, man. Low and close. I think it's going to be a little high scoring than that. Looking at the Gaff, like I said, man, I'm not going to come off my original point. I mean, Jalen Hurts is projected for a huge game. I think Detroit, if anything Detroit's able to do, they're able to push the game into shootout territory with a DeAndre Swift having a big game, with DJ Shark and Ross St. Brown having a big game. And maybe that gets Detroit the upset, but I don't think that they're going to be able to slow Hurts down. I think he's really coming in primed for a breakout season, and I think them bolstering his receiving core is going to be a big part of that. My thing with the Gaff that I like a lot, and what I think he needs to do, get Rashad Bateman into that lineup. You kept this guy. You wanted this guy over Leonard Fournette. Why is he not in the flex? I get the DK Metcalf and the Gaff. The problem with the Gaff is he plays scared. He's so scared that he's not going to have enough firepower that he wants to push reserves back to Monday night. There is no need to do this when you got a stud already on Monday night in Javonte Williams. All you need to do, cycle DK Metcalf out the lineup, get Bateman in to check Lamar Jackson, and this is a runaway game for the Gaff. I'm with you on David Montgomery, but like I said, I'm not so sure that we've seen the last of Tom. I never bet against Brady. I've been around too long to do it. He's going to want to make a statement, and Mike Evans, I think, is going to be a big part of that. Reason why I was telling other guys they need to start their Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Lamar and Mark Andrews definitely show out, but I think Rashad Bateman also shows out. And if the Gaff has that on his bench, he might live to regret it, and that might cost him this matchup. I think Michael Thomas is going to be a target hog, and I think this matchup is going to get good. Now, that Philly defense for ATG does scare me because I think Detroit has a little bit of firepower to push this game into shootout territory, and I'm just not feeling Green Bay, coach. Look, I know that Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I know that the Minnesota Vikings are the Minnesota Vikings, but at the end of the day, Aaron has never lost a talent like Devontae Adams in his prime. He did lose a Jordy Nelson, but Jordy was already on the downslope, and Aaron knew that. Him losing Devontae Adams was a culture shock to Aaron. Trust me when I say that. And I think it reflects on the Green Bay Packers when the Minnesota Vikings get at them in Minnesota, a game that is on the road. On the Gaff side, Denver is going to want to win that game for us, and Denver's going to win that game for us in Seattle. I mean, we got Geno Smith throwing the ball for crying out loud. I even like Harrison Butker as the kicker. I think Cleveland also wants to make a statement to Baker Mayfield, letting him know, hey, you got a little big for your britches. You're not kicking anybody's ass. Hey, man, you know what? I got to just say it, man. I got the Gaff in this one. In a big win to open the season, avenging their loss from last year where they left Trey Sermon in the lineup. I got the Gaff winning this one 124 to ATG's 113. And moving on to the prestige matchup of the week. We've got a rematch of Pantheon Cup 12 and 13 where these two teams split championships. We've got Patty's Twins taking on the Pantheon Cup 13 champions only for the boss. All right, man. Hey, it doesn't get no bigger than this. Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Deebo Samuel, Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb. It's a star-studded affair. We even got Sutton in the lineup going up against Travis Kelce, man. What you think of this one? Only for the boss, Patty's Twins.
I mean, this one lives up to the hype, in my opinion.
Okay.
I've got a leave no doubt performance in this game, and when I look at it, I just love everything that I see here. You mentioned it. I think Aaron Rodgers falls out. I mean, again, it is Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
He owns the NFC North.
True.
I mean, you
True.
just look at his statistics. Doesn't matter where he goes. It's very comfortable out there, and I expect things to just be just fine for Aaron and company.
Okay.
I love both Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman in the lineup. Again, I don't know what to expect in Houston. These guys will grind out, and I think that they could put up some points in Houston. Love the Cortland Sutton flex play. Because,
beautiful play.
Again, I mean, again, if Denver is going to get it, I think he's going to get it from us. And
okay.
So talk to you about what I thought about that Saints Atlanta game. She's gone there. I think wisely benching the Rams coach on Thursday night. I don't think she's going to need it.
Oh.
And again, because I look at this other side, like, you know, this could negate some points playing that Kansas City Chiefs head coach. I mean, if I were him, I would bench the Chiefs coach because, again, you're rooting Chief all day. You get Chiefing all day. If it doesn't happen, you sure don't need a negative at the end of a great performance by these other guys.
Right.
The one thing that just alarms me is, again, you could talk about it, but I mean, it's the home factor.
Okay.
Rashad Penny's the only guy on this lineup playing a home game.
Good point.
Again, I don't trust anything in Cleveland right now. I mean, Deebo did ball out in Chicago last season.
Right.
Let's see how they accommodate for that. I mean, again, I just think that the Twins have a little bit more firepower, savvy plays here. I think that both teams are lined up. I mean, the one question mark I have is, you know, the Boss went out and got George Kittle relatively early in this draft, and I'm hearing some injury concerns, and so not sure how that necessarily figures into the season. I mean, again, you do have Travis Kelce already, but I mean, hell, you drafted him for a reason,
right?
Not to just sit on your bench, whether it's trade bait or whatnot. But I mean, that really limits his
some of his options, yeah.
A roster spot for him there. And I've got the Twins doing a leave no doubt performance.
Oh wow!
Really putting up one on week one for the PPL, going 144 to only for the Bosses 139.
Oh man, so that's your big over under of the weekend. Patty's Twins getting revenge for their defeat in Pantheon Cup 13. All right, man. I actually got to go the other way on this one, man. I think Kansas City comes out and shits on Arizona. Not in the sense of they blow them out, but I think that their offense is going to be unstoppable. Arizona's defense doesn't really impress me. They got a sour taste in their mouth from that AFC Championship loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think that Kansas City's going to come out, try to run that score up. And they've heard all the whispers about Tyreek Hill leaving. I think that they're going to try to get Patrick Mahomes into a MVP conversation. And I think it starts week one. I love the plays with Patrick Mahomes. I love the play with Travis Kelce. And I love Kansas City head coach. I'm looking at Rashad Penny on Monday night. Rashad Penny had about 6 yards per carry down the stretch to only for the Bosses championship season. He was a big cog in that machine, and I think Nick Chubb runs wild on the Carolina Panthers. He's going to be the entire offense in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah, you're going to sprinkle in some Kareem Hunt, but they got Jacoby Brissett in there. They're going to be leaning on the run heavy, and I think Nick Chubb is going to show Baker Mayfield what he's missing in that matchup there. Stephon Diggs to get it kicked off early. And if Debo does play, let's remember the last time Debo went to Chicago. He looked like Jerry Rice.
We remember.
Oh, I'm sure we do. He looked like Jerry Rice out there the last time he was in Chicago. One of my favorite performances of Debo's career. The only thing I would say for the boss is Green Bay D and the flex. Let's get that switched up. I think Brandon Cooks provides great value there. And I mean, and as far as defense goes, I think there's a lot of good options on the waiver wire. Now on the Twins side, let's not act like, like I'm putting the Twins to the side because they had a great draft. They have a great front line and they have a great team. But I got to see it before I can believe it from Aaron Rodgers now that Devontae Adams is gone. Yes, he's Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he made Devontae Adams, but I think we got to a point where these guys started to make each other. Devontae's route running, Devontae's skill is going to be missed sorely in Green Bay. I don't even know who the hell he's going to be throwing it to. I mean, Sammy Watkins might get dumb. Alan Lazard's dealing with an undisclosed injury. There's a few question marks there. Now, if Aaron's just dumping it off to Aaron Jones all game, I don't like Aaron's potential in that matchup. I love Austin Eckler against the Raiders. I think that's going to be a high-scoring matchup. And I'm with you with Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I think that those were two of the best keepers in all of the PPL. Keenan is also in that big matchup, but there's a lot of dependence on Colts and Chargers. If for some reason the Colts and Chargers don't crack, it really slows Patty's Twins down. I like the check on Monday night for Rashad Penny with Cortland Sutton, and I like the New Orleans D pick, but I think that they're going to need a coach in there to have a chance to win this matchup. I think they do get a different coach in there. I don't know if they're going to hang on to the Rams, but they just might. That being said, this is the biggest coin flip matchup for the week for me, and I'm gonna go with the Pantheon Cup champions making an opening day statement, showing the other teams in Alpha that hey, they're here to preserve their championship status. And I got only for the boss ending week 1 in style behind Rashad Penny with a 131-124 win over Patty's Twins, the Omega champs, to open the season. That being said, thank you PPL for tuning in for our first week of PPL Live. I'm glad that everyone seemed to enjoy our premier draft recap. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to be in for another big season, and I hope everybody's enjoying. Good luck this weekend, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Geno the Gen and Ulysses as Hate, signing off.